Okay, so nothing too significant or out there this week. Mostly because, if you haven't heard by now, tree fell on my house Thursday during the big ass thunderstorms we got here in the Northeast. I'll toss up a couple of photos of the damage here, ones that don't, give away my address or anything like that. So, been working on that for a while. Uh, yeah, so this week's is just going to be a compilation of little bits and pieces, shorts, information like that. Thanks for watching. Means a lot, especially right now. Nice. See you guys in the next one. Did you know before the Great War, the United States government was working on a set of power armor that anyone could use without training? The first prototype version of it was known as the MP-47-A, Prototype Medic Power Armor. You can find it in Fallout 3. The thing about it is you still need power armor training in-game, even though you're not supposed to need it, since the onboard computer system is supposed to take care of the power armor training needed to operate the damn thing. What it does do, on the other hand, is give you medics whenever you're hurt. This armor was literally a precursor to the sneaking suit in Fallout New Vegas. Now, this prototype laser rifle is the first one we come across in lore that shoots a green energy beam instead of a red one. Now, that does make me wonder if they're going to retcon this rifle into being the first type of ultrasight rifle that was made. Because remember, ultrasight was also found pre-war after they started nuking old, anthracite? Coal mines. Ultrasight, anthracite. Hard to differentiate when you're trying to pull it off the top of your head, mind you. Now, the arc welder is a strange, improvised weapon from the Lonesome Road DLC. It shoots out an arc of electricity that is great against robots, and it's pretty much a free get because you can pick it up as soon as you enter the DLC. Now, here's the thing about actual arc welders. You hook an electrode up to the piece of metal you're welding, and when you touch the electrode of your welding implement to it, it creates an arc of electricity between the two that melts your material onto whatever the fuck you're welding, right? So that's how arc welders actually work. This is more just a lightning gun, really, which is kind of funny. Everyone knows about Archimedes 2 in Fallout New Vegas. It's the orbital laser you can obtain and use after completing the Helios 1 mission. Not a lot of people know about Archimedes 1. Archimedes 1 is specifically a reserve charge of the Archimedes 2 satellite system that is held in reserve for defense of the Helios 1 facility. You can actually set it off in-game, and if you do so, it'll kill most of the NCR around the Helios base. And if you come back later on, the Legion will have taken over, which is interesting to see. The armor of the 87th Tribe, one of the lesser-known DLC armors in the Fallout games. This armor was made by Caesar's Legion for a Centurion, as it says in-game. Technically, a legate, like Lanius. This armor is exactly the same as Lanius's in model, for the most part. The only difference is the texture. The texture on this is steel with bronze inlaid into it, compared to Lanius's, which seems to just be completely bronze for some reason. This armor, mind you, is on par with power armor with how durable it is and how much damage it can ignore. And the best part is, it's factionless and you don't need power armor training for this armor, making it a great choice for anyone that wants to use it after Lonesome Road. Did you know hidden outside of Bounds in the Brotherhood of Steel safe house in Fallout New Vegas is actually a miniature bunker that has the paladin that comes and resupplies the safe house in it? It's so that he always stays technically in the load cell, and this is where he goes when he leaves. It's why you can't find him when he walks out the door. Now, the bumper sword's a fun one. It's literally just an old car bumper that someone's sharpened and stuck a handle onto to use as a sword. And that's it. So pretty much what it boils down to is the cannibals have the nicest houses out in the wasteland, which is funny. Big Town has no bedrooms in it, which is kind of weird for what that town is supposed to be. If you have ever, and I mean ever, needed a reason to take out the scientists of the Big Empty, they created these things. The Cazadors, everyone's most hated enemy in almost all of the Fallout games. Almost as bad as the Cliff Racers back in Morrowind. But yeah, no. The scientists of the Big Empty made these things, and Night Stalkers, and a few other genetic odds and ends. But these ones right here, worst abomination out of them all. The camera. You're given this camera to take photos and stuff in the New Vegas wasteland for the guy that fixes neon in New Vegas. Funny thing about this camera is it is actually considered a weapon. So if you point it at the memorial there, and you take a photo of it, you can actually piss off the guy there and get him to attack you, which is just fun. The Compliance Regulator, an underrated laser weapon, well, laser pistol, that has a unique characteristic to it, and in that it paralyzes targets on criticals, I do believe. The name entails that this weapon was supposed to be used almost like a Fallout taser, even though the Displacer Glove and Paladin Toaster are a thing. But this is most likely a prototype weapon that was going to be used by riot control and police in lieu of just needing to shoot people. Which makes me wonder what more non-violent, less lethal options would be in the Fallout universe. The Cosmic Knife, a blade made from pre-war polymers from the Big Empty that are so sharp that they'll even cut through your cutting board into your kitchen counter. Never needs to be sharpened, ever. And the unique thing about this is the Big Empty actually lied. This isn't some space-age polymer they whipped up. They just pull this stuff out of the ground. That's it. There's an entire facility in the Big Empty just dedicated to pulling it from the ground and processing it for use in a bunch of things, including warheads. The most unique thing about the metal is that it can be superheated without losing any of its structural integrity. It's quite a unique metal. Now, the Cryolator was made by the Overseer of Vault 111 while he was waiting for the all-clear signal from Vault-Tec that never came. He uses cryocells and, a bunch of other basic odds and ends that were in his vault, which was a cryogenics vault. But it's missing one major thing that every gun needs, and that's a trigger. Yeah, the in-game model for the thing is just missing its trigger for some reason, which is a neat little oversight. Now this one here is just the double-barrel shotgun from Point Lookout. Neat thing about the double barrel from Point Lookout is this is just the sawed-off shotgun, just not sawed off, which I thought was a nice little touch. You can see everything right on the back end of the gun itself. Great to see when a team actually takes pride in their work and actually thinks of stuff like this, Again, weirdly wide staircase. They have to do it that way. A normal house would be like half that width. You'd probably have a wall tossed up there. You'd probably also toss a second floor over top of where the vault is. No, not over top of. Oh, well, over top of the living room. That way you don't have a vaulted ceiling. Knock another couple of bedrooms in there. This apartment here, bed, toilet, sink, looking good until you start actually looking at it. Half the room is a bathroom for some reason. And it's not even like that's not a bathroom, because that was obviously a bathroom that you go into from this room. And it's only cemented when you go across the hallway into this bedroom or apartment. Quite frankly, I think it's an apartment. You can see how they structure the walls and stuff when they're broken. And just another very large bathroom, which is weird. So what I've been noticing so far is either a house just doesn't have a bathroom at all, or they have a bathroom that's overly large for what it is. It takes up like half of the fucking floor space. Same problem as before. No bathroom in this place. Like, I could understand if this house was built post-war, people just use an outhouse or something, but yep, nope, pre-war. shared space upstairs. You got your kid's bed next to a staircase with no railing. Quite frankly, that should just be a wall leading across there. And to my surprise, a full bathroom, a kid's bedroom, and a full master bedroom. Look at that. A house that actually makes some sense. In real life, the bathroom downstairs would just be a guest bathroom, so a toilet and a sink. But yeah. After World War II, the men coming back who fought in the war created motorcycle clubs. One to have other people to hang around that understood their experiences. And two, you can almost think of it as a therapeutic bonding thing, right? You want to be around people that understand what you've been through and the hardships you've had to deal with. That can maybe help you through some of the same things they themselves have went, right? And from that, you get like the Hells Angels, the bunch of different motorcycle clubs. The one that we're going to focus on, though, right now is Mongols, as you might figure. Leader of which, if you didn't know, was known as the Khan. Kind of self-explanatory on why the Mongols are Now, the most unique thing of the ghost people from the Sierra Madre is that they can't die, unless you dismember them. I think this is to do with a combination of the hazmat suits they're in, the cloud that is killing everything in the Sierra Madre, and, believe it or not, a vaccine that they got to most likely work at the Sierra Madre. Now, some people may know this and may not, but to stop the new plague, which was ravaging the United States at the time, they came up with something known as the Pan-Immunity Viron Project, and then the entirety of the new plague disappeared. Now, this project was later changed over to the Forced Evolutionary Virus Project. Knowing that they were given a vaccine of precursor FEV, it's not really that long of a leap in logic to figure that they evolved to be sustained by the cloud while growing to become part of their hazmat suit. Did you know the Plasma Defender is actually a European energy weapon design made by a Gaston Glock AI that was made by the company to produce weapons? Yeah, this one, in fact, the Plasma Defender, is actually called the Glock 86 Plasma Pistol, which is just a neat little idea there, don't you think? Making an AI of a dead gunsmith to make better energy weapons. Did you know the same company that makes the Securitrons, H&H Tool Works, owned by Mr. House, also makes the nail gun that you can find in the Divide? The fastest firing weapon, I think besides the Gatling laser, in the entire game, and it also cripples limbs at a higher rate than any other weapon. The hazmat suit. It's a very unique piece of armor you can get from the Big Empty. Now, the thing about this hazmat suit, it pretty much proves that the Big Empty was just messing with the Sierra Madre at this point. Because the hazmat suit you get in the Big Empty, from the weird stasis field chamber, works perfectly fine. It's not stiff, it doesn't slow you down any, it gives you night vision, it doesn't randomly seal itself on you, or corrode, or grow stiff, or anything like that. Except the ones sent to the Sierra Madre did. Why? I think that they just liked messing with St. Clair at that point, because the guy gave them a bunch of money for a bunch of different tech, so I don't know. Maybe they just had a disdain for him or something. Have you ever noticed that Higgs Village from Old World Blues is almost identical to Tranquility Lane's layout? Same amount of houses, generalized same setup. The only difference is the fountain in the middle. That and Tranquility Lane's houses are just a little further apart. It makes you wonder if the simulation Tranquility Lane is built around. We know that's Operation Anchorage, but If the inspiration for the simulation of Tranquility Lane was taken from Higgs Village in the Big Empty, maybe Dr. Braun was part of the think tank at one point in time. Who knows? Even a single NCR aircraft conducting low-tech bombing runs would shatter the Legion's tactical fortifications overnight. Not because of raw damage, but because of what it represents. The Legion's authority is built on inevitability. His body still remains shattered, bones broken, burns raw and untreated. His strength regained only enough to walk. For the next weeks, his people worked on him. They rebroke misaligned bones, stitched deep wounds, and treated his burns. Not to ease the pain entirely, but to make him whole enough to move without constant agony. And Joshua, he accepted the suffering, taking it as punishment for his past sins, while carrying his guilt and sorrows as a mantle. In this crucible, the burned man became more than a survivor. He became a zealot of his faith, a man tempered by fire and pain, the embodiment of both human endurance and divine purpose. Now, Knock Knock, the unique fire axe that can be found in Camp Searchlight, is literally just... it's just a reference to The Shining. That's it. That's what this axe is. It also sells for a good bit more than a normal fire axe too in-game. Did you know in Fallout 3, you can get a set of factionless Outcast Brotherhood armor by just heading up to Oasis, doing the quest as normal, and using L'Oreal's liniment on Harold's heart. One of the members there by the name of Lyndon will reward it to you. Completely factionless, won't be confiscated by the guys there. Brotherhood outcasts at the fort there. It's all good to go. You don't need to worry about anything faction related with this armor. And I gotta say, color scheme is great. Although we were told the Marked Beast face helmet here was fashioned in the Divide by Ulysses, well, Ulysses told us about it, I think that he's wrong. I think that this helmet in particular was fixed in the Divide after the Divide went nuclear. As you can see by just looking at the helmet, it was originally a Legionnaire's helmet, fashioned in the style of Legate Lanius's, although missing the beard, so most likely a higher ranking in the Legion. The unique thing is it seems to be held together now with a welding of copper, almost brazed to the metal, to keep it from shattering again. Now, something I find interesting is that the marked tribal armor from Lonesome Road is just Legate Lanius's armor that's been damaged, right? And it's also a different color. But it makes me wonder how many legates are actually running around in the Legion, because it is a rank, after all. The MF Hyperbreeder Alpha is a recharger pistol that's been hot-wired for automatic fire. A previous owner heavily modified the internal breeder reactor for a rapid recharge rate, making this gun quite handy for anyone who doesn't want to carry around a lot of ammo.